70-7. That was the final score of Arizona's loss to Arizona State back in 2020, and it's a loss that many consider to be rock bottom for the Arizona Wildcats football program. Shortly thereafter, head coach Kevin Sumlin was fired to relieve his duties, which would be expected after losing to your rival that brutally. And it's worthy to note that Kevin Sumlin went 0-3 against Arizona State, which, as we all know, college football is a rivalry-fueled sport. You cannot lose to your rivals that often and expect to retain your job for that much longer. I'll throw another number at you here. 9-3. That was Arizona's regular season record this past season, 2023. So considering those two numbers, 70-7 to 9-3, how did Arizona climb from such a valley to being competitive in the landscape of college football once again? Well, enter Jedd Fisch. He was Arizona's head coaching hire after the dismissal of Kevin Sumlin. And it's a hire that a lot of people in the Arizona Wildcats community, fans, donors, alumni, students, questioned. Who is this guy? He just wasn't well known. There are other notable head coaches out there Arizona could have hired, but people tried to wrap their heads around it. Who is Jedd Fisch? Well, he had bounced around college football and the NFL for years before landing this gig, which would happen to be his big break. He had coached at Michigan. He had coached at Miami. Jedd Fisch was at one time the offensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's worked with Sean McVay. He's worked with Bill Belichick. He was even an interim head coach for UCLA at one point. So he had adequate experience, and he truly is a genius. He was just one of those diamond-in-the-rough hires that happened to work out for the Wildcats. A cornerstone of Fisch's success is that he always had a vision for the Arizona Wildcats program. Kind of like Dan Campbell. Jedd Fisch believed in something that was hard to believe in. Arizona was it was an ailing football program in the early 2020s. It was a job that nobody wanted to touch. It's like the Carolina Panthers in the NFL right now. Like, nobody wanted to touch that, and nobody could picture success for the program down the road. Yet Jedd Fisch was bold enough to take it, and he believed that with the people around him, with the resources he has, he could transform the program, most importantly, with his vision. He always believed Arizona could transform into something that it wasn't at the time, and because of that steadfast belief, his vision is slowly but surely becoming a reality. So, needless to say, that vision was tested in his first year as Arizona's head coach in 2021, as he truly inherited a dumpster fire. There were many young, inexperienced players, and a lot of those players got injured as the year went on. So that roster very quickly became thin. The depth decreased as the weeks went on, and Arizona started the season 0-8, which is as disastrous of a first season for a head coach as you can imagine. I mean, I can just imagine going into my office, locking my door, and just crying for hours after finishing those games. 0-6, 0-7. Like, is it ever going to get better? Did I make the right decision coming to Tucson? Arizona's only win in 2021 was against the COVID-battered Cal Golden Bears, and that doesn't really say much. They went 1-11. 2021 is a season to forget for the Wildcats, and it was time to to turn the page. A lot of those first seasons for a head coach, they're just a train wreck, an absolute disaster, and that's what 2021 was for Jedd Fisch. But we're moving on to 2022 here. The Wildcats improved. They went 5-7. They weren't bowl eligible. But nonetheless, they improved. They won 4 more games than they did in 2021. And as I've alluded to in videos past, it's all about baby steps. It's all about incremental growth. But if you can grow incrementally, you move in the right direction, and eventually you have a positive trajectory. When you have a positive trajectory, that's when great things come. And that's the stage that Arizona is starting to move into. as they transitioned from 2022 into 2023. Fish is obsessed with recruiting. Recruiting. Getting the best guys in there. Not only 4 stars and 5 stars, but guys that are going to fit the culture of the Arizona Wildcats. And that is something that takes time to do. You're not just going to, especially when you inherit a program in the condition that Arizona was in 2020. You're not just going to walk into a locker room full of promising players. You're not exactly going to inherit an all-star roster. You have to build that yourself. Jed Fish understood the assignment. He took the reins and he did that. He recruited well from 2021 to 2022 and then 2022 into 2023. And he, through time, acquired and got the players that he wanted in the system. And it started to become more and more of Jed Fish's team. He recruited tirelessly, and this team started to become very talented. It started to become promising, and there started to become a little bit of swagger around this Arizona Wildcats team. Even from the beginning of the season, there is a belief. Sports, I've noticed throughout time, sports are all about confidence. They really are. Winning streaks, losing streaks, you can be the same team. If you're on a winning streak, you're just more confident. If you're on a losing streak, despite how talented you may be, you start to question. You start to doubt. But if you're winning, you believe and you think that your formula is battle-tested and effective. And to illustrate what I'm talking about, I'm going to take you through Arizona's season in 2023. But before that, I want to leave you with a quote. This quote is the foundation of this Arizona Wildcats team in 2023. There was a player this season that said that Arizona's mindset was this: we don't hope to win, we expect to win. That statement speaks miles. We don't hope to win, we expect to win. You're not crossing your fingers. You're not hoping that you can win. You're believing. That's confidence. You are in control. Arizona believed that they were in control. When you hope you're not in control, you're relying on external factors. When you expect, when you believe, you are in control and you control your own destiny. And that is the belief and the mindset that this Arizona Wildcats team embodied this year. So to illustrate how their confidence built and blossomed throughout the season, I'm going to take you through their schedule. It started week 1 versus Northern Arizona. This is your opening game against an NFCS team. Arizona won 38-3 at home. Needless to say, that would happen. Week 2 is their first little challenge, and this game was interesting. I circled this game on my calendar. This was intriguing to me. In Starkville at Mississippi State, it was a close game, and Arizona just narrowly lost 31-24 to the Bulldogs in overtime. I must say in overtime. So they're battling. They battled with an SEC team. That gave them some confidence. Wow, we can hang with an SEC team. We got something. Week 3 versus UTEP. Again, group of 5 team. Arizona won 31-10. Now, this is where the season gets interesting. Yes, Arizona's 2-1. It's a winning record. It's a good record at this point for a team like Arizona that's slowly building. It's always good to have a winning record, especially when you went 5-7 and 1-11. Having a winning record is really good to have in your back pocket. But their winning formula still wasn't there yet. Arizona still looked kind of clunky. They're winning these games, but it wasn't exactly fluid. Week 4. The Wildcats go to Palo Alto, California to take on Stanford. And at the time, Arizona's starting quarterback, as he was for the first 4 games of the season, was Jaden Delora. And he suffered an ankle injury late in that game against Stanford. And freshman Noah Fafita had to take over. And Arizona didn't know at the time, but Noah Fafita is him. Even though he's a freshman, the kid's electric. He's an absolute superstar. And you want to talk about relating to a concept I mentioned earlier in this video. He had swagger. He believed. He didn't hope to win. He expected to win. And that showed. He didn't think. He just believed. Week 5, it's confirmed by the Arizona coaching staff later in the week that Noah Fifita will be having his first starts against, at the time, the number 7 team in the country, the Washington Huskies, who played in the national championship. Arizona lost by a narrow margin. They competed the entire game. They lost 31-24 against a team who would win the Pac-12, win the Sugar Bowl, play in the national championship. Arizona competed toe-to-toe. They looked like they belong in the same fields. And Noah Fifita threw 3 touchdowns in that game. Very impressive for a freshman quarterback. And it left people saying, wow, so close. They almost pulled it off. But was this just a trap game for Washington? Well, fast forward to the following week. Arizona goes to L.A. to take on the USC Trojans and Caleb Williams. And that's electric offense. And in an absolute shootout, Arizona loses in 3 overtimes, 43-41 to USC. And that left the general public, including myself, saying, they're so close, they're going to get this. They're going to get this win. When are they going to do it? And then I predicted the following week, they're going to Pullman, Washington to take on the Washington State's Cougars, ranked number 19th in the country. And Arizona not only won, they destroyed 44-6. And you started to see Noah Fifita get his legs on him and start to get really, really confident. The following week, they host Oregon State, number 11 in the country, and win 27-24. Then they host UCLA, win 27-10. Now you're seeing those margins start to grow, and it's just win after win after win against ranked team after ranked team after ranked team. And this team is just becoming confident. You look at the schedule here, they played 5 ranked teams in a row. They went 3-2. Who would have ever expected that? Arizona expected it. They didn't hope to do that. They expected to do it. Then they go on the road to Boulder, Colorado to take on those polarizing Buffaloes. It was a tighter game than Arizona expected as they were building that confidence, but they still pulled it off by 3 points, 34-31. Then they hosted the Utah Utes at home, number 22 in the country, well-coached team, Kyle Whittingham. Arizona rolls, 42-18. And then this last game here is where it all comes full circle. That's what I love about stories in college football. Remember that score I mentioned at the very beginning, 70-7? Well, Arizona went to Tempe, Arizona, took on the Arizona State Sun Devils in the last game of the season, the rivalry that happens every year that weekend. And Arizona crushed the Sun Devils, 59-23. More importantly, Noah Fifita threw for 527 yards. Poetic justice. The very team that Arizona lost to hit rock bottom, they destroyed at the end of this season. And then the Wildcats move on to the Alamo Bowl to take on the Oklahoma Sooners, and they won that 38-24. So, it's incremental growth. You saw Arizona's confidence build throughout the season. Week by week, game by game, they got better. They started to believe. And here's a little food for thought for you. Picture yourself walking up to a water cooler in a workplace near you and muttering the words, Arizona's going to finish this season with a better record than USC back in May. You would have gotten laughed out of the room. I would have laughed at you. I would have thought that was ridiculous. I would have thought that was unhinged. That's what happens. You never know when a team's going to get confident. And when you're led by somebody like Jedd Fisch, you get there quicker than you expect. It's not coincidence that Arizona wins 10-3 this year. This team's good. They're talented, and they have leadership. And you better expect those Wildcats to make noise in the Big 12 this year and in years to come. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you and the time that you took out of your day to watch the video. And if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like the video and share it, as well as subscribe to The Era. The more likes and subscribers I get on this channel, the more resources I can attain, and the more resources I can attain, the more value I can provide to you, the viewer. And that is how I show my appreciation for you for the time that you devote to watching my videos. So thank you so much, and have a great day.